Good afternoon, everybody. We'll do the intros properly once we've got this in. Running slightly early, so I thought we'll have it. We would if I get a focus. Often gets hazy at the far end, and it's a gorgeous afternoon. So, one eye on the plane, one eye on the chat. Tab in, good afternoon. I parked up somewhere, shall we say, convenient today. Sometimes I park at the pub, sometimes at the metro station. Paul Heron, good afternoon to you. Welcome back, buddy. So, Emirates due out at 1:45. At the minute we're looking at the KLM Embraer 190 standard. Just arrived a little bit early from Amsterdam. There was another 12:45 arrival, a Ryanair from Dublin, and what do you know, that came in early. So unfortunately, I thought we'd have two planes to open the show with. It looks like one. Upside is, while I was setting up, an Aer Lingus ATR 72 came in very late. I think it was due in something like 11 o'clock this morning or thereabouts, and I would imagine we'll get to see that in the 2 hours of the show. They don't normally take more than 45 minutes to turn that round. So you win one and lose one. This KLM scoots to the back of the building. This one's due back out again at 1:15. Might be a bit tight, but we'll see. Harold Ostrich, hello in Germany. What part of Germany, my friend? Sorry if I've asked you this before. I claim my 57 years as eroding my memory, you see, if I've met you in the chat. Somil, hello my friend. Long time no see. Hope you're keeping well, buddy. Welcome to Newcastle, my friend. Margaret McKenna, good afternoon to you. So this morning when I was here last, because we did the early bird show, so if folks who didn't get a chance to see that, there's always the option to catch it up. Sunny but jolly cold. This afternoon it's lovely strong sunshine. Although the one thing I'm missing is a sun hat. I thought it was in my rucksack, and what do you know, it ain't. But that's just the way it goes. Alibi 58. Yes, my friend. Hello and a cheerio. You've got a great afternoon in store. You have a cracking time, my friend. Thanks for dropping in, though. I'm never going to compete with an afternoon in Edinburgh. Bye, Jingo. Sam Thurlaway, welcome back, buddy. Well, that's interesting. The Emirates came in from the A690 this morning. Okay, I've got that correct, that's the one behind me. I know the wind, and we'll do the weather forecast in a bit. I think we started west-south-westerly this morning, and I think that's what we've technically got at the minute. Looking at the wind socket, it might have moved a few degrees. It's going to transition through the afternoon into more of a southerly, and by evening it will be easterly, which would naturally trigger reverse ops. Jacques, welcome back, my friend. It's entirely my pleasure. Entirely my pleasure. And if I'm bringing joy to other people, I'm double happy. Carl Shield, welcome back, mate. How's things in Dublin? That's what I love about this show. We're all over the world, aren't we? Margaret, good afternoon in Newcastle. Alibi, up in Scotland. Sam Thurlaway, I can't quite remember where you said you live, my friend. Christopher Boys, sorry, I don't know if I said hello. For the avoidance of doubt, hi Christopher. It's always the same for me when I'm starting the show up. Head's still scrambled from making sure I've got all the right things plugged in all the right places. Me to a T, that one. So the plane you're looking at, the 777, which is, I suppose you'd say, the star of our show always, if it falls through the window, being a 777. It's our heavy, if you like. We also have Dreamliners periodically with Chewy. But fingers crossed that will be away in just under an hour's time. Let's have a quick canter around the front of the building, the terminal. There's the incoming Dublin flight. I think last time we were looking this way it was a Ryanair off to Gdansk. And just in case there's anybody that hasn't got the general gist of the airfield here, it's a single strip runway. Oh, there's another legacy of this morning's show. The Loganair Embraer 145 that was due off to Southampton around 20 to 7 ended up being towed to where you see it now. I did wonder whether it'd still be here when we came back. Hey ho. Clearly I think, well, I'm not sure what's going to go on with this, whether it'll be left here and pick up its slot tomorrow or whether they're waiting for a part, I don't know. I'm guessing their maintenance depot with all the heavy lifting is somewhere in Scotland. Aberdeen, is it? Eddie, good afternoon, buddy. Eddie the editor. Well, we're going to do the intros in a minute, Eddie. I was treading water in my own fairly indistinct style. There's the windsock. And continuing the tour, before I forget, that's what I said I was going to do. So, here's our tower. Those who watch Newcastle streams will be familiar with that. Opened in 2007, 45 metres in height, several £1 million. Quite iconic. There are others with that wasted design. Fire station, 4 pumps there, I think. Always try and count them when I go by. Training fuselage, or one of them. If you can see over the other side of the building, there are other training configurations on show. And here's our single strip runway. 07 at my end, 25 at the other. If you carried on driving through that hedge and kept driving straight, you'd be in the North Sea, which is not really the way to go, is it? We might struggle with some hazing this afternoon. With the KLM when it came in, I noticed that we were struggling to get a focus initially. I'm just going to have to go quite gentle on that. It is one of the features, not just here, but airports generally. If you're shooting from one end of a runway to another on a hot day, there is a risk of hazing. And the Newcastle Aviation Academy, where they train in everything from cabin staff, ground ops, and aeronautical engineering. Business terminal behind there. I think it was here, but tail fin parked in there. And the Flying School and Flying Club also have tarmac in that quadrant of the world. Carl Shield, you were saying very busy military-wise. I'm guessing that's Joe Biden's visit. I was hoping we'd get a bit of that on Saturday. Unhelpfully, the military don't seem to put too much emphasis on putting their movements on flight radar, do they? Cyril Denham, welcome back. Yep, you are one of our representatives, if you will, that's been on the Emirates triple. I'm 3:30, but can't beat a seat on the 7.4. I've got to be honest with you, if you made me choose and it was one or none, I'd be on the 7.4 too. Sam, you're right. On the other side, sorry, I've skimped. Do you know what? On recent streams from here, I don't think I've seen a lot of police helicopter action, which, to be fair, used to see quite regularly. But yes, you're quite right, Sam. Yeah, Washington, Tyne and Weir, so you're a local lad, so you're more in the zone than me. Delmac? Definitely. So we were going to go and do the return of the 380. Changed our minds because it appeared that one of the big players was covering it, and with other streamers there as well, it seemed to us as a fairly small channel, as much as we wanted to do it, didn't seem like it was going to give us the best bang for our buck. So we sat it out, and what I'd have spent on that took us to Dublin at the weekend. But now the 380 is there for the rest of the summer. Yes, we are doing Glasgow, mate, no question. So watch this space. Haven't got a date for you, but I'd be amazed if we're not back there by mid-May. if not sooner, because of course the weather's the other consideration. I'm tracking movements there at the minute just to see if there's a particular day that is going to give the viewer a better time of it, because that's the name of the game, isn't it? Plane spotters to our boots, one and all. It's going to rest us back on the triple. I'm going to wait with bated breath Eddie's question to Cyril about favourite experience. An alibi, thank you mate. Between me and Eddie, we've driven past that all-important point. Folks, please do give us that like, support, and consider subscribing to the channel. It doesn't cost you anything, and it helps you with YouTube. And we'd love to have you with us anyway. We love having you now, but you help us with YouTube if you can do that for us. Sam, I reckon that's fantastic being on the flight path. Yeah, definitely. I've seen de-icing here, Cyril. I watched a Dreamliner being de-iced. I can't be sure when I saw it. Eddie might be able to help me out. I'm not thinking I saw it this winter. I think it might have been last springish or February, March, you know, that end on, before we started live streaming. It's a good question you raise. Yes, once and once only I've seen it, so I know they got the kit. TCC, hello, welcome back. Well listen, if we can help make lunch a better space to chill out, we're delighted. Pleased to have you with us, TCC. We've just hit one of those little pauses that you tend to get at Newcastle. I've been a little bit banjaxed by Ryanair coming in a little bit early. KLM only marginally early. I know we have Chewy in at the top of the hour. So let's do the proper show intro, shall we? Because I like to do things in the right order occasionally. So, straight from the top, and we've said a number of hellos in the chat. So this is our lunchtime pop-up. So we only really made the decision to do this morning actually. It was one of those things that I decided while I was here. I thought decent weather, I fancy coming back later. So here we are. I've also thought that obviously this is nice to enjoy at home, but people on lunch breaks or travelling on trains or whatever might quite enjoy it too. So we're doing it, seeing how it flies, pun intended. So it'll be a bit of a long lunch I suppose, because we're looking to run through till 3 o'clock. Unless there's something delayed or coming in early or whatever, we pretty well will finish at 3. But I think you will know me well enough to know that I'm not going to switch off mechanically at the top of the hour when there's something to show you. I just don't want to show you empty tarmac if I can avoid it. So yeah, I'm Mark. A number of you know me anyway through the chat, but for anybody new to the channel, and as you'll have picked up through the chat, Eddie, my son, is in the chat, and he's our editor. And Alibi 58 is with us shortly before onwards to a family event in Edinburgh. And that's where we are at the minute. We have 3 other mods, which I'm not quite sure in which order we'll be seeing those in the afternoon, because this is a pop-up. So it really is a case of pop-up and see how it flies. So we've got Ken Alloway, who might be joining us later. He's got something on at the minute. Dopey Gorp, who I'm not sure. Nell W was with us this morning. I'm not sure what our plans are this afternoon, but as I say, it's a pop-up, so let's just fly it. There is no better team of moderators. No offence to any other moderators out there, and I'm not just saying it because they moderate on this channel, but there you go. And I just wanted to say thank you to everybody again in terms of the support this morning. As soon as the show finished, back up the A1. It wasn't quite a Formula 1 pit stop when I got in, but it was a case of getting stuff recharged and hope you get enough juice in it before you come back. Bit of breakfast, pot of tea. Mrs. Plain Sailing Aviation, say it the long way. Sorry dear for grassing you up. Did notice that in going to the camera at the end of the show, I hadn't had a shave, so I had to squeeze a shave in as well. Spruce myself up, make a bit of an effort for the viewers. During the show, we were expecting 19 movements. I suppose we are technically still now, aren't we? Because we're going to gain the Aer Lingus departure, but we've missed the Ryanair arrival from Dublin. So yeah, 19 overall, split being but it was 11 arrivals. Now that's going to be 10 and 9 departures. So 19 in total. Emirates is star of the show, but we have more action than that. Just going to move the camera around just for a couple of seconds while I carry on, do it with the introduction. So as you can see there, we've also got Ryanair, Logan Air, feature later, Chewy, which I think is our next one in any minute, Jet2, we've got a number of Jet2 movements during the course of the afternoon. So a bit of a rotation in terms of carriers. Boeing 777, 737, and a couple of Embraer types in the form of the 190 standard and 145 ERJ, plus the ATR 72-600 that we've picked up in the form of the Aer Lingus late arrival. So sorry if I've missed anyone joining through the chat. Tried jolly hard not to. Sam Thurlaway, I do hope we don't get that today. You never do know though, do you? It's the way you kind of, what's they say, the cookie crumbles. It's the way the cookie crumbles. Paul Usher, good afternoon to you, my friend. I do not doubt you're a good mod, Paul Usher, so don't take it personally. But I've still got, oh hang on, bit of action. I'm just, as you would expect, so very proud of the mods on this channel. And you're right, I've been in other streams. I think I was talking to you on, I'd like to say Friday, on the AMS stream, and you were modding away to good effect. A bit of helicopter action. Don't know if you've got a good enough sight of the reg, or if anyone's a helicopter expert to tell us what that is. Doesn't look dissimilar to the one we saw this morning. Just drilling a hole for itself in the ground now, corkscrew style. Clive Button, welcome back, my friend. Jim C, welcome back to you. Still working for you too, mate. Sorry about that, buddy. What time do you finish? We'll just try to make the day as good as we can for you with the time that's available. I joke often about this not really being a flip-flops location. Oh, I can see our Chewy coming in. I'm assuming it's our Chewy. I'm not chasing yet because we're going to suffer from some of that far end haziness. So do bear with me. Simon Kirby, welcome back. Thanks, Sam. So that's Golf Mike Foxtrot Lima Tango. That's the chopper, yeah? Have to look that one up. See, if I chase anything too hard, I'm getting hazed. Although, in fact, we'll take this one down first. I might change the setting on the camera. Still not quite what I want. Sorry folks. Yeah, I've got to go for a settings change. I thought it would be alright. And we might be... I filmed feature footage here during a warm sunny day, and I know that it gets a bit hazy at the far end, but that was, no, it's not 70 degrees. So my apologies. Tabbing, honest answer, I don't know. I mean, the thing is, well, two things. It's a fair distance away, and I think it'll probably get well covered by other streamers. And whereas that wouldn't necessarily put me off. I'm just not sure about the vantage points there. I mean, Paul Usher, I think you mod for Airport Action. I'm sorry if I've got that wrong, but I know he had, and he's a regular at Birmingham, and had a pretty bumpy experience recently, and he knows what he's doing there. So yeah, this was a Jet 2, not the Chewy. I'm out of sequence. Good stuff. So yeah, Chewy will be the next one in. Sam's got eyes on. So a very good afternoon to anyone that's just joined us. Welcome to Plain Sailing Aviation. I'm Mark on the mic at the minute, the camera. Eddie, my son, is in the chat as Plain Sailing's editor. And last I looked, we had Alibi 58, who is one of our mods. As we watch this plane pull in, I wonder if we can pick up the countdown board. I don't think we're going to get it, are we? Well, I can hear something that sounds very turbopropish, and sure enough, there you go. So I thought this one would be in and out pretty quickly. So I'll keep an eye on the horizon for the incoming Chewy. I'm just going to tweak the camera in a second. Trying to offset some of the hazing at the back end. We had got it set for low light, which is a legacy from this morning. So we are literally waiting for our incoming Chewy from Alicante. The plane you're watching, you'll recognise the Aer Lingus livery. It's the pretty late, well, the late arriving Aer Lingus ATR 72-600 to Dublin. And for those who aren't familiar with Newcastle, that's the sound of the metro line immediately behind me. So a regular feature of the show is the rumbling of the trains. Change of pace from the rumbling of the host. So as you can see, it's just a bit hazy at the back end. Alibi, have a great afternoon, mate. Do have fun. Oh, just look at Jim C's comment. 5 minutes is better than no minutes, mate. Yeah, I'm inclined to agree, Simon Kirby. I've travelled from there before, but I've not spotted there. But from what I can work out, yeah, they are not very pro spotting, I think would be a reasonable thing to conclude. Although, to be honest, the video I saw from Birmingham with Airport Action, Kev doing his filming from a deserted multi-storey car park, I thought that was pretty hardcore, being there in the first place. It's always a bit more reassuring when there's some people about, isn't it? And this place was like it was closed. Kind of funny, but as I do the reverse shot, all I can see in my viewfinder is Mowgli mush glaring back. Right, if we can stay above the hedge. So, that's Alicante banked. I have a notion there's a second Chewy flight that's running a bit late, looking at, well, I think last I looked around 13:25. I'll drop back in the chat in a second, folks, so apologies if I've missed anybody joining us or anything that's pointed my way. To be honest, Ed is better value than me for anything that's pointed my way. Yeah, I think that's what Mrs. Plain Sailing Aviation said. You could be anywhere in the world right now, couldn't you, sunshine wise? In fact, let's conclude the weather forecast. So very well doing a pop-up, but somehow I'm jumping out of sequence. So, the bit I hadn't got to was the weather. As you will know, it is very nice. Cool earlier, but okay now. It's at about 8 degrees. It's a bit hotter in the sun, so pretty darn pleasant. I was talking about the wind, so it was a west-south-westerly when we arrived. Looks to me like it's moved a few degrees. It is going to keep transitioning to a south-southwesterly by the end of the show and easterly by this evening, when it's supposed to bucket it down with rain. so good thing we'll not be here. Wind 14 mile an hour, 12 knots, gusting at 21 mile an hour, 18.3 knots. So, pretty agreeable, folks. So let's get back to our Emirates. Give me a chance to have a quick look see at the chat. This plane always looks great, doesn't it? I know the Emirates have got their new livery now, haven't they, as well, their Evolution. So let's have a look. Going back to the chat, so like I say, sorry if I've missed anybody. So I said hello to Jim. Scooting on. Simon, yes, about the police, covered that. It's the runway cabin. I think that's been covered later in the chat by Cyril and Simon. Demand, but I'm not sure if they can, well, whether they would choose to try and put it down on 2,300 and something metres. I'm sure they could if they had to, but I think we'd be on the shorter side. I think that's where the potential to have runway extensions at some point comes in handy. And as Cyril and Simon talk about, there's a demand thing. Looks very much, doesn't it, the 777 is going to remain the workhorse, although of course with the Dreamliner and the lower running costs, now it gets interesting. Yeah, I absolutely love Narita, Simon Kirby. I quite like following J-Sky. I've not seen some of J-Sky stuff recently, to be fair, been otherwise engaged in my own stuff, but it looks great. If I get myself on a bit of a world tour, I do fancy a bit of that action. Tabbing, yeah, I'm with Eddie on this. I think there might be something in that. Wasn't there a match earlier in the season, just before Christmas, where Saudi representatives were there? Now obviously they own the club, but I think somebody was there that was connected with the airline, and I'm just wondering whether they'll be shirt sponsor first time that comes up. And you kind of think for prestige purposes this will be on their map, wouldn't you? So if I were taking a bet on it, well, I wouldn't take a bet on it, because I think that will happen. And I think for us plane spotters, that'd be absolutely fantastic. Thanks, Sam Thurlaway. Second Chewy being an incomer from Palma. Well, I don't think we're quite going to compete with that. Thanks, Simon Kirby. Appreciate the boost for us there, buddy. Jim C, I hope the rest of the afternoon goes by as quickly as your lunch would have felt like it's gone. I'm only recently retired, but I do feel the change of pace considerably, in the good way, like. So those of you that are out there still beetling away, I've not forgotten what it's like, so have a good afternoon, bud. Right, so let's have a quick butchers at flight radar. So incoming to Newcastle, we've got the Chewy 737 MAX 8, which flight radar is just passing over Darlington. Just going to rotate the camera, folks. Give you a little bit of Jet 2 action. Oh, I've driven past it, haven't I? Such is the glare. I think I've said on recent previous shows, Jet 2 are taking the ground ops in-house here and Bristol, which I think mirrors what they do elsewhere. Just not sure whether that's happened yet or whether that's happening, but either which way, that's definitely in the pending pile. was looking on flight radar at something else which doesn't tell you what it is, but twinkling along, approaching Newcastle at 11,000 feet. I'm just watching the calibrated altitude, willing it down. Looks like it's driving on by, folks, for those of you that are in flight radar. So let's have a look, see. All being equal, we should have Emirates away in the next half hour. So that'll be nice. It's a shame really that the wind isn't going to change sooner, because you can't beat a reverse ops takeoff. I mean, certainly, let's just come off that one, back to our Emirates. Boarding seems to be progressing nicely. Travelling in style. So I think Ryanair goes out slightly before that, at about 20 to 2, off to Paphos, Cyprus. Doris Petsus, I don't know if you are in the Lurkers Lounge, going your way. No, I've seen a chopper somewhere. There we go. Bit of the old whirly-bird. Who knows where. Certainly a nice day for it. Okay, that was a bit of unexpected action. KLM should be returning to Amsterdam imminently. They were due out at 1:15, and they actually came in early. So I'm surprised we've not seen them pushing back. Can only be a matter of minutes. Yeah, I can remember that tab-in terms of Turkish Airlines. Wasn't that? I thought it was a ladies' basketball team. Last August, something around there. Michael Maloney, how are you, buddy? Yeah, I do remember Dan Air. Never flew them, but I was saying on a show a couple of shows back, I'd seen somewhere that the name's being brought back to life. A Romanian startup is flying under the Dan Air logo, if you will. It's a different logo, mind, under the brand. Which was interesting, because I was saying on the show, if you were going to reinvigorate a brand from yesteryear UK aviation, I'd have gone for something like Britannia, or even better, Caledonian. In fact, forget the Britannia, much as I love them, Caledonian. But I guess some of this is about who owns the copyright to these things, or just choice. So yeah, they fly into Gatwick, I'm told. Sam Thurlaway, that is the Great North Air Ambulance, is it? Excellent. Doris, I was just checking your name a few minutes ago, because the next Ryanair departure, 20 to 2, is off to Paphos. Thanks, Tabin. Close enough, mate. I'm 57 after all. Dwayne Curley, good afternoon to you. Hope you're keeping well. Yeah, I got an idea, Tabin, it was last summer. So we wait patiently for the main event. I'll keep an eye out for any more helicopter action sneaking out. And obviously keep an eye on flight radar. So back to Michael Maloney's question. Yes, I do very much remember Dan Air. I mean, don't get me wrong, I love watching plane spotting now as much as ever. But when I look back into the 70s and 80s, which I know is an advantage of being of a certain age, there does seem to be a lot more variety and you know, both in terms of airlines and types. But saying that, there's some beautiful planes that were still on the drawing board back then, or probably not even on the board. Right, I think KLM are pushing back. I can just see the top of what I think is a KLM tail fin. Let me just confirm that for the avoidance of doubt. Yeah. So next action, folks, is a KLM departure to Amsterdam. Flown that service recently, be about an hour thereabouts, depends how fast they want to go. JT Jets, good afternoon to you. Well, you might be right about Saudia, but I've got my money in a different direction. I mean, it's easy to bet on them not coming because they're not here now, and maybe they won't come, I don't know. All I know is if they do, they'll be welcome. I'm all for a bit of that. Dwayne Curley, I reckon I'm on that path, mate. I get hay fever off, well, tree pollen hay fever. I'm not quite at the coughing and wheezing stage yet, but you can tell the pollen count must be inching up. I don't know if that's you or whether you've just got a cold. Yeah, Doris, Eddie, myself and his mum went to Paphos. I don't know, Eddie, what do you think, 2000, 2001? Had a cracking time. The only thing was we chose to go late season, so it was into October. So whereas the middle bit of the day was plenty warm enough for us, it kind of tailed off quite sharply around 3:30, 4 o'clock. And I do remember this fantastic swimming pool, outside swimming pool, being just too cold to use. I don't think I've ever been anywhere where there's been such warm air and sunshine but such a cold pool. But hey ho, good memories nevertheless. Right, let's just rotate the camera. Right, I'm assuming that's Chewy on finals. Yep. On Mallorcan incomer, 737 MAX 8. I'm not chasing for it yet. As we know, it's proven a bit of a haze fest this afternoon. Stairs are coming away on the 777, so that's all good. Ground ops doing their usual good thing. Main thing is it's due to go on time. Unlike this poor baby, which should have been departing for Southampton about 20 to 7 this morning. You can only feel for the passengers because, as you'll have deduced, they all had to be deboarded. But it took a while to get them off, so I'm guessing there was a prospect of being able to, well, they were certainly trying to overcome the fault. Anyway, we'll rest away from Scotland's finest. A little bit of Jet 2, and then we'll peel away to our incoming 737. You see the KLM tail fin scooting along in the background. I'll have a little piece of that as well. As I'm fond of saying on commentary, I think KLM are probably the speediest of taxi experts. 15 mile an hour being the max speed here. I think they use every one of those. to say adios to that, because I need to go in fairly steady on this. Nearest puff of smoke. Welcome back, folks. This is the moment when you sit there thinking, was I in zone A of the car park or zone D? So, good afternoon to anybody that's recently joined us, and I do apologise if I've missed you in the chat. I'm Mark, your host for Plain Sailing Aviation, so very much welcome, warm welcome to you for our pop-up stream. Just too nice today not to pop up really. My son Eddie is in the chat as Plain Sailing Aviation, so he'll say his own highs, but that's who that is. And let's pick up our KLM Embraer. It's got fresh air. That's not a very full plane. I know the Embraers can get up sharpish, no question. As we know from London City, 35-degree rate of descent. I'm fond of saying, and remember they don't sponsor me, sadly. I've been flown with them recently. Great airline to travel with. Paul Heron. No buddy, no worries buddy, always a pleasure. Tabin, I think that's a question for the chat. I don't know the answer to that one, buddy. What I do know is we'll be on air till about 3 o'clock, and the star of the show has to be the 777 you're looking at the minute. Due out at 1:45, so you haven't got to wait long for that. But we have some other action as well, so hopefully you'll stay with us. Thank you for your time this afternoon. We know there's plenty of choices you can make, but do give us that like and consider subscribing to the channel if you like what you see. You know, it's free and does help us a lot. Simple as that. But either which way, you choosing to spend time with us, we'll take that It's nice to be in company. Now, my hunch would be that Ryanair would be looking to move pretty quickly. Still see the ops team loitering in this foreground. Loitering's not the right word, is it? Yeah. I think Simon Kirby, those 350s look stunning in anybody's livery, but I do take the point. I love that plane. Phil Tovey, welcome back to the stream, mate. Certainly things seem nice here at Newcastle Airport. Sun's beating down. I'm hoping that you've got some of that sunshine. Can't remember what you said you got this morning, but yeah, it's beating down. Because I forgot my sun hat, I'm having to wear my hood periodically. You think I was about 8 years of age. Thank you, Paul Heron. That is, you know, much appreciated, buddy. Absolute pleasure to have you with us. We try our very best. I mean, even this morning, we decided off a fairly short run up to do some of the departures. Seemed like a fun thing to do. And it was almost a spontaneous thing that took us into a pop-up. Whereas we have done pop-ups in the past, a small number, maybe it's one or two. Generally, we like to have a bit of a plan. I haven't got visual on a helicopter, Sam, although veterans of the channel will know that I have a blind spot for helicopters and small aircraft. It's a launch pad, Doris. It's a bit like when you're driving a car and you hit a bit of an elevation, kind of lifts you up, doesn't it? It's a yeah, good feeling. Margaret. No, I'm going to say no on the flip-flops, and I can still confirm that Plain Sailing Aviation aren't going to be introducing a line of flip-flop merchandise. Just don't see its place here. I know there's a lot of people in the chat who come from warmer places, but no, it's definitely not. Sun hat, yep. I've got some Factor 50 on, so I've made a concession to the weather, but no. Good stuff. To be fair, joking aside, I am, look at this, lots of boarding action. Check what time that one's due to go. I'm pretty envious of people that are able to spot in places that are flip-flop type territory, but nah, not going to happen here. I think though, as a concession to summer, I can envisage me actually t-shirt and shorts and a big floppy hat. Some kind of cricket hat, I'm thinking. I can see that possibly for about 2 weeks in July. Now, it's either the world's biggest lawnmower up in here, or there's a light aircraft down here somewhere. Oh yeah, here we go. A Piper Apache. Skirted to the side of us. Thought they were mowing the grass for a minute. Let's check our Emirates hasn't moved unbeknown. Anyway, that wasn't quite what I was looking at, was it? I was going to have a look, see Jet 2 Dalaman flight due to go at 5 past, 2 o'clock, looking to be a 5 past. Emirates looks bang on time, according to flight radar, and Ryanair to Paphos. He's still showing it on time, but that clearly isn't going to go at 22, even if they start pushing back. This second, I think we're pretty much on it. So, Ryanair, Emirates, Jet 2. That's our sequence for departure. I'll just check there's nothing that's running late that I've cheerfully missed. No. Told you the train service was regular. So, incomers, Loganair from Stavanger. Looks to me like that's a cancellation. It's certainly not in the air. I know we have some issues picking up Loganair on the deck. Keep an eye out for it, but it's not shown as live. Whereas paradoxically, the Aberdeen flight is, and estimated to be in very shortly. So I think this is how it's going to play. The flight radar is to be believed. Loganair incoming Embraer 145 from Aberdeen. Minutes away, mere minutes. I'll just keep us ticking over before the big jet action kicks in. And then it looks like we've got a Mallorcan flight in at 2 o'clock, 3 minutes to 2. Good stuff. Filtover, yeah. I think here it will be raining by evening. There was just a decent window this afternoon which kind of opened up for a pop-up. I think by sort of 6-7 o'clock it'll be raining. I mean, it's hard to imagine at the minute. Not a cloud in the sky. Well, there is, but you know what I mean. It looks like the opening to The Simpsons. You know, there's a bit of blue sky and you see a few little puffs of clouds. Pretty good. Margaret, I think it's de rigueur now, isn't it, at the airport? When Eddie and I were travelling to Dublin on Saturday, just as you wander around the terminal, there seemed to be a lot of people in shorts. Clearly, we weren't banking on it being shorts weather. Right, I can see our incoming Loganair Aberdeen flight, so we'll cut away to that as soon as it offers a decent image for us. And our Emirates is bleeping away, so that's all good. I'm thinking my flight radar must be slightly in arrears because the image I'm looking at, they've not turned in yet, whereas what I can see in the sky clearly has. So I don't know whether that's my connection to my tablet, not sure. Any of the who. Well, Simon Kirby, we were saying this morning, weren't we, that postman in shorts in the middle of December is not an unknown sight, is it? I have no clue. I really don't. Then again, I am no fashion icon. It's kind of like, it must be the same elsewhere in certainly the UK. Being a 70s, 80s kind of lad, white socks was a big thing. And then it was, ooh, Emirates is moving. And then it became naff for a very long time unless you were actually playing sport. And now you see the young ones wearing white socks all the while. Shows you fashions do come round in the end. So perhaps I'll be fashionable once every 50 years. Yeah, you're right, Simon. Asbestos-leg posties. I suppose when they get to the end of, say, September, they've got some good tans. Although they're going to have those short lines, aren't they? Mind you, we should be grateful that the post office don't have some kind of Speedo type hot summer uniform. Anyway, let's keep it clean. Sorry folks, chasing that with my excitement. Softly, softly, touchy monkey. I think it's a fairly safe assertion to say that it's colder in Aberdeen. If anyone's in the Lurkers Lounge or in the chat from Aberdeen and you think it's not, let us know. Right, we should get a nice crossover here with the 777. Little and large. There you go. So this usually takes itself to gate 1. Right. Probably going to say this several times in quick order, but what a beauty. Shunty McGunter! Hey up buddy! Welcome to the chat. For those of you who don't know Shunty, he's another person that has legendary status with his channel. So when I was in Edinburgh last, Shunty was 15 foot to my right. And as others will know, that's the place where I seem to have a blind spot. So I'm just fiddling with the sound. Better. Anyway, by the by, so Shunty tells me in the chat he's 15 foot away, whereas usually I say to people, oh, hi, where are you from? And it was the same a few weeks before that with Chris Horsfield, also an Edinburgh spotter, stood very much where Shunty was. I just put it down to being 57 in the zone, I don't know, but yeah, top bloke Shunty. Nell W, good afternoon to you. How's things in Germany? How's the lambing progressing? Let's just come in a little bit closer. I don't know if I read this right, and I did know the number, and I've forgotten it, but I think it said, isn't it, that the 777 is the most manufactured airline type in the history of aviation. I don't think I'm wrong with that. Very good, Simon. A working Logan Air. They just had a tough day at the office, mate. I know what that looks like, having that at Dublin on Saturday.
It was interesting watching them this morning, you know, when they were still in the cabin. Obviously the technical bods have probably got their plugins and trying to download. I think it's a software issue myself, but who knows. Maybe it's a sensor picked up something and it requires a bit to be changed, I don't know. Either which way, I felt sorry for them. Now this is travelling in style. Sorry? Oh, it's absolutely fantastic.
I'm trying to be a commercial pilot.
You are?
Yeah. Start my commercial pilot's license in 4 weeks.
Well, I need to tell you, you're on air.
Yeah.
We're live streaming, you probably worked that out.
Oh, that's fine.
That's cool.
Yeah.
4 weeks, yeah?
Yeah, 4 weeks. Yeah.
Excellent. Do you want to shout your first name out?
Pardon? Lara.
Sorry?
Lara.
Lara. So I've got Lara stood next to me, here spotting the 777, who's a small number of weeks, 4 weeks, did you say?
4 weeks, start the final bit of training before...
Starts her commercial pilot training?
Yeah.
Now that is living the dream.
Yeah.
That is living the dream.
This is my favourite airline, Emirates, I love it.
Do you know something? I've got too many, I'm too greedy on this.
Yeah.
Can't choose, I think it must be my age.
Your camera, that's great. It's really good.
The only trouble you get on a hot day like this is hazing at the far end when
Okay.
you're shooting straight down the runway.
There's a really good spot over that side. I don't know if you've been to it, you know, the field.
Where the ponies are.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, I normally go there.
It's great when they come in low there, isn't it?
Yeah.
Although I like it when they do reverse as well, the reverse ops. Shunty, I think you make your own look there. 130s and 2 U-28s through Edinburgh last 7 days. You see, Shunty, I didn't complete the anecdote, was the guy that alerted me to the fact that the Luftwaffe, I think that's what we call the German Air Force today, still, well, they had an A319 coming through, which wasn't expected, and as Shunty would testify, in fact anybody that was in the chat, I would just cock a hoop. You know, when something turns up that you weren't expecting, it does that for you, doesn't it? It's like a gift from an auntie at Christmas that turns out not to be a pair of socks. Jonathan Martin, welcome back, buddy. Hope you've been having a good day since we met you this morning. Yeah, you are just in time. I did consider contacting Emirates to see if they'd delay the departure so we could do a finale at 3 o'clock, but yeah, couldn't see any traction on that.
The Ryanair must have been delayed as well.
Sorry?
The Ryanair was delayed.
Yeah, that's a 20 to 2, well there's transponding at the minute. Yeah. That's the Paphos flight?
Paphos, yeah.
I suppose the good thing is, it's still here to be seen, whereas if it had gone on time, it would be a distant memory. So yeah, just getting a bit hazy at the back of the track.
Gorgeous day for it though.
Cheers. I forgot my sun out though, at least you've thought of yours. So where are you doing your training?
I haven't decided where I'm doing it next, but it's going to be down south somewhere. There's not much up north. So.
No. Oh well, like I said, you're living the dream.
Yeah. I've always wanted to be a pilot since I was a young age, just thought it was a dream.
Yeah, I would have loved to have been a pilot, I'm just not smart enough.
No. Have you done any smaller flights? Single engine flying?
No. My lad Eddie, it's a lad and dad thing, this channel, he's in the chat at the minute. He used to be in the cadet force at school with the RAF, so he's done, oh, I can't
I did
think
the air cadets.
Grub tutors, yeah. Grub tutors. No, I don't think it was.
Yeah.
Cranwell, I think.
Oh, Cranwell.
Cranwell. fact, Eddie, if you're still in the chat, correct me, but Dad thinks it was Cranwell. Anyway, he got the closest to living the dream. And he did the glider course as well at Shawbury.
Okay.
I think you helicopters there as well, don't you?
I went RAF science for that, started that with him.
Oh, somebody on finals. That will be, reminded myself,
it's Jet 2.
Jet 2 from Mallorca.
Yeah.
Smashing stuff. So took off 2 hours 42 minutes ago. Now twinkling away on the horizon. So quick good afternoon to anybody that's recently joined us. Welcome to Plain Sailing Aviation, our pop-up live stream from Newcastle International Airport. I'm Mark, your host, with you till 3 o'clock. We are literally waiting for our star of the show to leave, the Emirates 777. We have a Jet 2 on finals, incoming from Mallorca. Oh, and we've got a Ryanair departure, the Paphos one, which I think we can steal a quick peek at. I know you know what Ryanair looks like, but it's close, so let's have it. So, Doris, coming your way, mate. Although you might need to exercise a spot of patience. Lara. Jonathan Martin, a young lady called Lara. I better steal in carefully on this, as we know if I go too fast, we might lose focus. And usually it's me losing focus. Thought for a minute that was somebody's car alarm.
Yeah, that happened once when it landed down that side of set my car alarm off.
Ah. But that wasn't your car alarm?
No, that wasn't mine.
Ah, good stuff. Right, we're going to cut away in a second. The triple is just starting to move. We'll have this while it's front and centre. Lively there, sorry folks. That's me trying to watch the triple and giving you this. I think we need to get to the sharp end of things. Hell of a wingspan there. Best part of 65 metres, I'm told. To be honest, I want to measure that myself. It looks bigger than 65 metres.
Do you spot any other airports or is it just here?
No, we do all over, so Edinburgh, where else have we been? Amsterdam recently, Dublin on Saturday.
Yeah.
Just going, oops, right, we're rolling. This is our home base here in Edinburgh. top stuff. So, next off, here we go, our outgoing Paphos flight, Boeing 737. I think we said it was a Max, but I'm getting old. That'll be my stock defence for anything. Since I've retired. Oh no, it's 737-8AS, yeah? So 800. No, that's my defence now, here onwards. 57, so everything I forget. I said, well, I'm 57. Wish I thought of that when I was 45. Ken, hey up buddy. I wasn't expecting to see you. I think you look like you've got plenty on. Welcome anyway. Never the same without you. Do you know what? There is a knack, isn't there, with timing? I reckon you've got a sixth sense for this sort of thing. Yeah, I've got to agree, Simon Kirby. Sounds absolutely fantastic. Sometimes, it didn't happen today, but you kind of get a wobble off the downdraft with it, with the tripod and so forth. No, Simon Kirby, I'm not pedalling that one. Hang on, I'm forgetting what I'm doing. We have a standing gag on this channel where one of our viewers, Simon Kirby, is always giving us a disclosure that he knows the name of the airport.
Yeah.
So this one is Ryanair.
Okay, yeah.
And what he wants me to do is repeat it as if I actually think it is Ryanair that's flying the plane.
Okay, yeah.
That's about the shape of it, isn't it, Simon? Anyway, good news is back-to-back departures. Well, Ken, it's a pleasure to have you with us.
Where you normally live, is it YouTube or Facebook?
YouTube, you'll find us. So we're Plain Sailing Aviation.
Okay, I'll have a look. I'll give it a follow.
Yeah, give us a subscribe as well.
Yeah. Plain Sailing Aviation.
That's us.
Yeah,
that's
top
the
one,
one.
great.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Oop. Yes, here we go. Didn't think this would be lingering long.
Yeah, it's moving.
Went out a little bit flat. Oh, and in the meantime, I've got a bit of Jet 2 pushback. Likewise, Laura. All the best for your career, and do say hi if you see us low life around here again.
I'll be back soon. It's really addictive. It's fine. So yeah.
Excellent. You take care. So Dalaman is where this one is going. Well, I know what it was. Just before that takeoff went up, I could see something interesting happening in this corner. Perhaps not as interesting as I thought. Kind of bookmarked it to come back to. I thought, wasn't sure if it was some blue lights. It's not blue lights. You can see some yellows going. Maggie Lee, good afternoon to you. Loving the emojis. I'm not really that up on emojis, but you look good. Welcome to us anyway. I don't think I've said hello to you before, so just in case, I'm Mark, host of Plain Sailing Aviation. My lad Eddie is in the chat, posting as Plain Sailing Aviation, and moderators we have Ken Alloway and Nell W. That's the team this afternoon for this pop-up. So on air for another hour. If the action dries up before then, we'll bring it to an earlier close. In the same way, if there's some action still happening, we'll not finish prematurely, but we're not going to show you more empty tarmac than we need. So let's just see how the aviation gods play for us. While they unclip the tug, let's have a look at some of this deboarding action. Happy campers, work tomorrow. Nell, don't apologise. Anytime you or any of the other moderators can give us, it's always appreciated. That's usually my story, to be fair, Nell. Multitasking was probably something that I discovered fairly late in life, to mixed effect, before Simon Kirby says anything, or Ken for that matter. So off to Dalaman. I'm guessing it's going to be pretty nice there too. So they've just got a runway check going off to the side of me, just in its latter stage. It's just the butchers. As he peels off, chance to go pedal to the metal. So I think we are into that window now. Let's have a quick look, see. Yeah, where Jet 2, both liveries I think, Classic and the summer one, the Allegiant lookalike one, are going to be going out. I can see somebody on finals. Although last I looked, I haven't seen it on my flight radar. Probably make it out at the top of the screen. I've still got nothing showing off flight radar. Must be Tiddler. Sorry folks, I don't think I'm going to be able to get much of that. Yeah, it's not giving much of an image at all, is it? Sorry folks. So in terms of the next show, we're not quite certain as to what we're doing next, and that's not because we don't know what we're doing. What I mean is we have plans for an away fixture in the coming days. We're just not quite sure where we're slotting it, because obviously we've got an eye on the weather as well. But rest assured, if we do an away day, it won't be a pop-up. So you'll get to see that through community notice. So as always, subscribe, hit the notification bell, and you should be in the loop. Sadly, it won't be overseas travel, it'll be another UK airport. We've just got a couple of options we're mulling over at the minute. And sometimes you just got to let the weather make your choice, haven't you? Well, that's interesting. If you're in flight radar at the minute, folks, there's a Hawker Hunter T2 beetling up the coast. Where's that gone from? Quite sure what the... Oh, from Leeming. Leeming, yeah. Sorry folks, I'm too excited. I don't think we're going to get a chance to pick it up. Just watching on the horizon. It's not that kind of day. But beautiful aircraft. Don't know what your thoughts are on that one, Ken Alloway. Hawker Hunter T2. Oh, rolling without delay. Sorry, Rob had to snatch at that. My headphones fell off the back of my head as it went over. I tend to favour one earpiece on and one off, which kind of means it's not always clamped to my head with the limpet-like suction that is probably intended. I think the Hawker Hunter needs to divert to Newcastle, Ken. So we have an incoming Jet 2 on its way in from Malaga. 737 8MG, departed 2 hours and 46 minutes ago. That is just passing Bishop Auckland. So flight radar says with us in 12. Let's have a little butchers. Let's see what else is going, because I can see 1, 2, 3 Jet 2s pinging away, or pinging away, sorry, lined up, not pinging. I think it's pinging here is me, my brain. Let's have a little look, see what the departure picture looks like. So we're supposed to have a Chewy departure at quarter past 2, Logan Air to Exeter at 20 past, and a Chewy to Antalya at 2:30. Logan Air also to Aberdeen at 2:35. So we get a good little sequence, literally a matter of minutes away, and then we'll see what's left. We may get an early finish today. And on the arrivals front, we talked about the incoming Malaga 737. Just waiting for my flight radar to refresh itself. Clearly wants a drink of some sort. But I'll take my cue and have a quick swallow. Stay hydrated. Looks like flight radar's in a bit of a funk at this end. It's refreshing it, so sorry folks if I've not left the building. So it looks like, in terms of arrivals, the Stavanger flight operated by Logan Air doesn't appear to be gracing us. I think I make it, we've got 2 more arrivals. This incoming Malaga flight, and just before we're due to finish, Ryanair, which is actually, he's going to come in late, so we're going to get an early bath, I reckon, folks. Much as I enjoy your company, I'm not going to torture you with no action. I mean, sometimes it's just unavoidable at a smallish regional airport like this that you get gaps in play. But if it looks like everything's pretty much wrapped up, 20 to 3, time to go and get an ice cream. Good afternoon, some kitten. Welcome to Plain Sailing Aviation. Where do I stand? I'm sort of approximately at the end of the 07 end of the runway. So the westerly side, if you want to think of it that way. There are a number of other decent spots dotted around the periphery of the airport. Just depends what you want to do. So I think if you were taking stills, you have a few more options. I think from a live stream point of view, I think you kind of, this is the spot, or a bit further back behind me. You're local. Broken air, very, very droll. Yeah, let's see what the engineer's up to. See what modules he's plugging in. Or have they sent out for pizzas? What's the light count looking like, Ken and Nell? As usual, I'm frozen, so I was frozen on 11. Why it randomly stops at that point, I just don't know. Might have been 11 when we started, I don't know. There's going to be some madness in it. So thanks, Ken. Jet 2737 for Malaga, now 4 minutes out. Usually I can just about see them at that. I'll keep my eye on the horizon. It's a nice blue sky over yonder. I think we'll leave the engineering team to their labours. It's a nice steady drive around. So, hopefully folks have enjoyed the show so far. If you have, and you've yet to hit the like, not yet subscribed, I would urge you to consider those things. It's obviously your choice. It doesn't cost you anything, but it helps us a lot with YouTube for bringing you future shows and so forth. But it's a pleasure to have you with us. It really is. 98, thank you. So thank you, Simon. So 2 more for the 100. And for those of us who enjoy their cricket, 100 has a magical number, magical significance. I can can just see the Jet 2 circling now, or lining up now, Ken and Simon now. In fact, everybody. I'm trying to think about 3 different things and jumbling it all into the same sentence. How I never said 100 in that sentence, I don't know. Sorry, I'm looping back through the chat. Chilean Air Force. One more like for the 100. Whoever hits that 100, put your name in the chat. That's, although all the other 99 are as important, you may as well take the bow. A bit like spanking the ball through to the boundary in a cricket match. Raise your back to the sky, give it a waft to the dressing room. Right, I've got eyes on, proper eyes on. That was a side-on view I had before. So they are lined up now on finals. I'll not chase it yet. The haze will confound me. I'm watching the chat, see who's claiming 100. And Eddie, you can't claim it, it's cheating if we do it. Well, I've not seen Eddie for a bit. Scrolling back. Ken, I think when you entered the building, I think Eddie thought that was him discharged from the jury, given that you got Nell with you. So, towards the end of our pop-up. If only every day could be like this. Oh, right, I've just changed my screen and saw Ken's message, 107. Now, I'm not wearing a hat at this exact moment in time, but I would take it off and say thank you very much, one and all. That does mean a lot. Thing is with a pop-up, you never know how it's going to land. And it was a bit like that this morning when we did the early bird show. You know, it's not everybody's idea of fun getting up for a 6 o'clock live stream, but of course we're something of a global entity, aren't we? A lot of people were on that stream from further afield, so it's just trying to give viewers you know, what we can. But yeah, we'll do this again. Yeah, I've got a feeling, Simon, you know, if I can pack this all up and finish a bit early, I go pedal to the metal to his house and have a look in through the front room window. He's probably got his head down on the settee. Or he's asleep in his garage with a heater on, with some music playing that's not music, you know, the sounds of hammering and stuff like that. So Mrs. Eddie thinks he's hard at work doing something. Hard at work resting his eyes. Eddie, if you're watching this on playback, mate, you know your dad loves you. He's only kidding. He's not really going to come and look through your front room window. See, the hazing's just eased a little bit. Still a bit there, but the heat's dropped off quite sharpish now. So, unless I've miscounted, which I can't discount, this will be the last but one arrival. Ryanair closing the show. But we should get a flurry of outgoing Jet 2s and Chewy, and in fact Logan Air. So, on the departures count, it should be okay. I'm just counting down to the day where we start seeing the A321 here with Jet 2. They're starting to take delivery of their Neos, aren't they? a rare old treat. Nell, do not apologise. I told you, you've got the day job to look after. You do what you do, and the rest of it we'll manage. It's not easy being a mod. I have done it myself with Lewis at London Plane Spotting, and you're torn several ways, aren't you, sometimes? As I'm fond of saying, live first. The planes will still be here tomorrow. The sweet spot, of course, is live with some planes in. Dopey Gorp, good afternoon to you. You see, I got you in that category. We're just talking about Nels trying to watch the shop, do work and so forth. And I got that very much, I understood that with you. Anyway, great to see you, buddy. Hope Easter's been good for you. You missed your 777 fix. I did think you might be in for the triple. There's Donaldson. How are you, buddy? Finished work, nice surprise. It was a surprise to me when I thought of it. Just got carried away on a whim. Thought it's too nice a day not to do it. And because the weather was okay and there was a reasonable packet of movements, I thought we'd do it. So you're at the back end of the show, but great to be in your company. No worries, Dopey Gorp. Lovely to see you, mate. Yep, entirely unscheduled, unscripted, won't be the last. But it's always going to be dependent on what we've got to show you and what the weather might be like. I think actually with the early finish I might go get my hair cut. Jonathan Martin, I think that might be a question for us. Not sure is the long and short. I think today is probably the better day's weather for here, so I'm not sure we'll be here before the weekend. I wouldn't rule it out. I can just see a Chewy pushing back. But we are looking towards an away stream somewhere else in the UK, somewhere around the weekend, possibly just before or just after. I think the thing I could say is watch out for the community posts. We always try to put out in advance what we're up to. I mean, pop-ups are a bit tricky, aren't they? I could put it out in the post and you might not see it. Where did I see that tail fin? Oh, there you are. So yeah, watch this space, but there will be something out between now and Sunday night. We're just working through what will be the best for you, the viewer, actually. I mean, to be honest, I'm as happy as a standby pretty much anywhere I go. Margaret, see you the next time. Yep, sorry about the mystery, but there you go. Oh, Doros, I've not long retired myself, mate. Finished at Christmas. And if I'm really honest, I wish I'd done it a bit sooner. Wasn't quite sure till I'd done it. Well, you know what I mean, I was sure enough to do it, but I won't lie and say there wasn't a degree of apprehension. Same with Les. Les, you've got yours coming up, haven't you, mate? Take the plunge. Facebook, we are setting up a Facebook page, Jonathan Martin, so just bear with us. There's a few things on the go at the minute. We are looking to put an announcement out about memberships as well, with a view to offering those from the beginning of May. We've still got a couple of loose ends to tidy up and discuss with our moderators and just get a sense check, but we are looking forward to that. So yes, there will be a Facebook page, just not yet. That's more Eddie's side of things. I'm not really up on Facebook. Clearly I'm going to have to be. How cool is that, Les Donaldson? 380 in the new livery. You see, we were talking about return to Glasgow earlier on in the stream, and in one sentence you've kind of baited the trap. Yes, Ken, haircut incoming, definitely. Thing is, down here the kids, like probably most places, are off for Easter, and you know what going to the barbers is going to be like? It's going to be full of back to school haircuts if I wait till the weekend. So it's a case of either squeezing it in this afternoon and taking a chance, or being outside the barber's door first thing tomorrow morning. And no, I'll not be doing an impromptu pop-up live stream with me in the barber's chair. Market research indicates there is no demand for that product. Probably more demand for some kind of in-stream poll for what kind of haircut I should have. But we're not going down that path either. I've got a feeling the unfinished look would probably top the poll. So, off to sunny Antalya. Just having a quick look round the terminal, see who else is moving. Because there should be a little rush of them now. Otherwise the barbers is going for a burn. So not a particularly long runway here, just over 2,300 and I think it's 34 metres. To maximum taxi speed of 15 miles an hour. It can look rather stately sometimes, can't it? Maggie, I'm going to enjoy looking at your emojis when I watch the chat back when I get home. Very artful. So, last 20 minutes of the show, I reckon. Just thinking aloud, I'm overdue seeing some chewy Dreamliner action. We do get the Dreamliner here with Chewy, but just lately whenever I seem to stream I get the 737. I think it's a few weeks since we last caught the Dreamliner. So I think we'll be going without delay. As our next flight in from Faro with Jet 2 is shortly to pass over into the North Sea before starting finals. So let's see what's happening next. So the incoming Jet 2 is just crossing the coast at South Shields. So flight radar say 6 minutes, 6 or 7 minutes. I think will be a fair quote. Good afternoon, Mike Wild. Welcome to the stream, mate. Rainer, good afternoon to you, buddy. Hope things are good in Berlin. All right, Mike, I've just seen wet and windy in Warrington. I think Ken was saying that Alloway wasn't too bonny earlier on. I know here it won't be, but that won't be till tea time. Sounds like changes in the offing. So as we were saying, Jet 2 next in, small number of minutes. Just turning over Whitley Bay. They're usually coming over a small village called Seaton Sluice, which some of you in the chat and in the Lurkers Lounge will remember we did a small feature on a few Saturday shows back, where we basically showed the route in. Very scenic. Just quickly having a look at the scorecard, see what's due to go before show's end. And I've got visual on the incoming Jet 2 from Faro, so that's as good as in the bag, folks. by my reckoning, we've still got another Chewy to go. Unless I've lost track of that. The Tenerife one that was due out at 2:15. Logan Air's Exeter flight is due out at 2:50, so 10 more minutes. Their Aberdeen flight is going to be at 4 o'clock, so we'll miss that. Okay. So a Chewy and a Logan Air is what I make our outgoers before 3 o'clock. Okay, we'll make ready. I'll not zoom in too harsh too quickly. I'll just see the 737 centre top of your screen. It's like a big bird of prey at the minute. Sorry I've been out the chat, folks. I've just been checking a couple of different things on my setup. Jonathan's just confirmed the plane we're looking at has just passed over his house. I'll put that one in the suggestion box, Simon Kirby. I do love Heathrow, to be honest. That's why we launched there. Like I say, that's one we're going to have to sit down and crunch out, myself and Eddie. Ooh, what's snuck out there? Is that Logan Air? Okay, there's our next departure to Edinburgh. We'll track this one back to the terminal. They both seem to be fairly equally paced. Michelle, good afternoon to you. Hope you're having a good day. Ah well, there's a lot of choice out there. Not lost on me. Anyway, you're here now. Kind of in the last 10-15 minutes. Yeah, I think you're right, Ken. Hold full of golf bags. That's interesting now. Some kind of smart algorithm that converts flags to letters. Clever stuff. Ooh. And here's our Tenerife flight. I'm certain it is a Tenerife flight. So that's what's causing Jet 2 to hold. So we'll have this one so we can see it unclipped. Oops, Logan Air's actually got a scoot on. So we finished with a bit of a frenzy. Well, frenzy could be a bit of a stretch. Trade Descriptions Act and all that. Let's see how things are progressing back on the deck. It's getting close and personal. Oh, it's close. Yep. Well, that's interesting, Ken. I thought that was going to Exeter for some reason. They need to get this multilateration thing sorted, or change the transponders on the plane. It's a posse of cyclists beetling by. Tell you what, when we were in Dublin on Saturday, I mean the cycling there, it just looked like the Tour de France. You know, these organised clubs. Great big swarms of cyclists. We thought if this aviation caper don't work out, we'll just stream live cycling. Ah, we're rolling. Sounds like somebody's having a bad day. So we find ourselves at the back end of the show. Not sure what's to go after this. I've got a hunch there's another Jet 2 to go, the one that was in the foreground of the previous shot. But I'm just going to say it now so I don't forget. Thank you so much for the fantastic support, folks. You're right, Ken, no politics in the chats. This is a happy submarine. Political bias is the exception. He is our cult figure, or one of our cult figures. It's becoming a cult channel in terms of membership. Just enjoy those aviation wood vibrations. Oh, thanks, Ken. Only 3 years old. Rainer, is that Formula 1 inclusive? Do you like me F1? Although veterans of this channel will know that my battery changes are somewhat short of F1 standards in terms of time. But I'm working on it. Michelle, that is incredibly generous. You've only just joined us this afternoon. Thank you so much, Michelle. That is really, really kind. I was just looking at the screen and that popped up. Lovely choice of background. Thank you so much. That is fantastic support. These are the moments that send me beaming from ear to ear and usually cause me to lose focus. Thank you. That is so generous. And as I always say, everything we get goes into the channel. So you can be quite confident on that one. So we're kind of, I was saying a few minutes ago, and I've said at different points in the chat, we'll put an announcement out shortly, but it's going to be another away trip around the weekend or thereabouts. Once we've sorted a couple of bits. Not least exactly where we're going. Okay, Tenerifico, here we come. Don't worry, Michelle, we've got no plans to stop. We just want to enhance the experience. The more you enjoy it, the more we enjoy it. That's the whole mission, really. We get to see it firsthand, but the better job we make of it, hopefully it brings a bit of happiness into other people's lives. Birds have gone quiet now, they know what's coming. Lovely. I hope that sounded as good to you good people as it did here. I have to say the microphone's been a stellar investment. Right, let's have a quick look see. I see nothing currently live transponding, but I'm convinced something's supposed to be going out around now. Let's have a quick consultation. Maybe departures. I don't think we get another arrival by show close, sadly. So Tuesday. Just warming up flight radar. I think we're being here twice in a day, it kind of discombobulating. In a good way, mind. So, departures. So the Logan Air went out, was the Exeter flight according to flight radar, which would leave us Aberdeen at 14:35. We've sailed past that, and I've got half a hunch that that ain't happening for some reason, although the flight's not cancelled. Antalya, Chewy's gone. Looks like that's it, folks. Quick sweep through the deck. Anybody sees it different, please do sing it out. But I think we are done with departures. I swear I thought we got another one. So yeah, Ryanair's Antalya or Alicante flight is delayed. Yeah, we're going to get an orderly finish, aren't we, folks? I'll just go to camera to say thanks in a jiff. The Stavanger flight with Logan Air won't be until 3:30 nearly, so we'll not do that. Right, let's get focused. So, Audrey, I don't think I've said hi this afternoon. Sorry if I have missed you, but hope you're doing well. Right, I think we are at that end of the show, so just bear with me, folks. As you can see, I need a bit of a trim, so you'll have to excuse the hat hair, which started off with my beanie, ended up under a hood. Probably the best place for it, but no need to say. So thank you so much, brilliant support this afternoon. I didn't close correctly this morning by saying thanks to the moderators, so I'm going to double down on that one. So many thanks to the moderators, Nell W, Ken Alloway, sorry I'm confusing myself, because Alibi 58 did a stint at the front end, and Dopey Gorp joined us for a short hello cameo at the back end. Thank you one and all. Not easy, the time commitment that goes on here. Thank you to everybody that watched us, liked us, subscribed today, or was an existing subscriber anyway. It's all good, really good. Always say make sure you got that notification bell hit though, so we can stay in touch with you. Michelle Johnson, just to double down, thank you so much for your kind gesture. You only joined us at the back end of the stream and you've weighed in with such generosity, genuinely touched. So thank you very much. And as Ken says, final call for the likes and subscriptions. So what did we finish up with, Ken, on the likes? Just give me something to focus on when I'm travelling back up the A1. Doris, I like your proposal. Yeah. Okay, Tabin, just watch out for the announcement, mate. We're not trying to be mysterious about it. We are just trying to work out what the best bang for our buck's going to be. It's going to be an away trip, that much I can tell you. It's going to be UK based. We just have a couple of little things we want to look at, make sure it's going to be good entertainment for you. And of course, the best certainty we can get on the weather forecast, because there's no point in going somewhere and finding that that's where the rain's all turned up. Story of my life. But next day or so, mate, we'll have something out, trust me. I've got Mrs. Plain Sailing Aviation asking me the same question, where you're going to be. I'm sort of saying, well, I don't really know. Right, so thank you very much. So yeah, it's up the A1 for me, Audrey. 141, fantastic. So as we close down, if there's 9 people on the stream that thought, yeah, I do like that, please do hit the like button, give us the 150. But regardless, I've really enjoyed your company. Been a pleasure. So I look forward to seeing you all next time out. Take care. Bye.